In my previous episode, I reviewed the Glenmorangie 12, the Accord, and I wasn't terribly impressed with it. But, I hadn't drank a lot of whiskey in the past month, being in Egypt and Italy and places that I didn't have a bottle of whiskey with me. So I figured I need to give this whiskey a fair tasting, and maybe I need to try it against something that's very similar. So I took a 10-minute walk down to the local Cava in Paphos, Cyprus, where I am right now, and they had a beautiful selection of whiskeys, including this one, Tamdhu 12. It's got a sherry finish and should be closely matched to this. So let's do this. Welcome to Whisky Riffs. If you're new here, I'm Kevin, and today I have two whiskeys because I wasn't happy with this Glenmorangie 12, and I wanted to see if it was just the fact that I didn't enjoy enough whiskey over the past few weeks, or if I really didn't like this whiskey. The way I thought I would do that was to grab a 12-year-old Speyside or Highland Scotch that also was similarly cast with Oloroso Sherry casks. And this Tamdhu 12, which is a beautiful bottle, came from a recommendation by John, the Whiskey Neighbor, a lovely Canadian who has a great whiskey channel, and I'll put links below to his recommendation and his review of this. I love Tamdhu as far as a whiskey brand because when I tried their batch strength a long time ago, which I have a review of that, I'll put a link also to that below, it was just a wonderful sherry bomb. Now, as I understand it, this is not a sherry bomb, which is fine. I'm not looking for a sherry bomb because I don't think that Glenmorangie is supposed to be a sherry bomb either. It's just supposed to have hints of sherry. So my choice was not to get a sherry bomb. There are plenty of whiskeys out there that do have that kind of behavior, that kind of casking, and I know that would win me over because I do like a little extra punch in my sherry. This one, I'm hoping has the same kind of hints, but I'm looking forward to finding out if Tamdhu does sherry better than Glenmorangie. Now, if you watched my last episode, you will remember that I said there's another Glenmorangie that I didn't like so much, and this is La Santa, which is also sherry cast from them. So my hypothesis is that I just don't like sherry cast whiskeys from Glenmorangie, and that's the problem. And if that's the case, that's fine. I can live with that. So before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and pour both of these because I want to make sure that we have them in a glass, both of them breathing, so we have a chance to be on equal terms here. I want extra credit for getting all the whiskey in these tiny mini Glencairn glasses because they're a lot harder to hit than the normal size ones. But I'm on the road all the time, so I can't carry around larger glasses. And I actually just bought this second mini because I need to compare it to whiskeys, and I really haven't done that yet from the road. So now I've got to still want them small because, frankly, it's a carry-on suitcase that I use all the time. If you want to know more about that, check out my links below. It's another channel that my wife and I have called Finding Jean Marie. But on to the whiskey. The first thing that I will say about the Tamdhu versus the Glenmorangie is the Tamdhu is non-chill filtered and it's natural color, where the Glenmorangie was not. They're both 43% ABV, so that's the same. They both have Oloroso Sherry aging. The Glenmorangie has also a bourbon cask aging. My thought is that maybe more of the Glenmorangie was bourbon cask, and then when they blend them together, you got less of the sherry. The Tamdhu spent its whole aging process in Oloroso Sherry casks, so that should give it more actual sherry taste notes. If you can tell the difference, I can tell the difference from here, that there is more color in the Glenmorangie than there is in the Tamdhu, but they do add color to this one, which is why I think maybe it's got more intensity to it. I think it's the non-natural color. The Tamdhu also has some refill sherry casks. So that means that you're not using the first fill of the sherry cask, you're not getting the full color, you're not getting the full potency. That's going to take the color down and probably take down some of the heavy sherry flavors, which means it's not going to be a sherry bomb. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Tamdhu since I haven't had that yet. You'll see I've been drinking a little bit of the Glenmorangie because I wanted to get a fair shake of it over the past few days, make sure I really tasted it thoroughly. I have yet to taste the Tamdhu, but I think it'll hit me just right because I do like their other sherried expressions. Let's start with the nose. Okay, there's maltiness there. I'm definitely getting grapes. I'm getting berries. This is a much fruitier nose, I think. Yeah, I would say a much fruitier nose on the Tamdhu than on the Glenmorangie. There's a little bit of citrus there now, and maybe a little bit of like a cake frosting. Very sweet, very pleasant. Let me try the taste. So this has a very long finish and really warm in the mouth. And there are some good wood spices, but it's not that kind of flavor point where this one was turning sour on me, where this one stays a little sweeter. I am getting some like a mintiness on the taste, and now I'm smelling a little bit of mint on the nose. To be fair, mint isn't one of my favorite notes, but I don't mind it here because it's very subtle. I'm getting a bit of cinnamon and very malty, and it's also got some of the deeper fruits. Not as fruity as I thought it was going to be, but again, it's not a sherry bomb, and it does have refill casks, so that could be why it's not overly sherry. That's very strange. I don't think this is a peated whiskey, and when I read it online, they said there was a hint of peat on the finish, and the peat smoke kind of is there on the finish. They also mentioned banana, which I'm not getting on the taste yet, but sometimes flavors unfold as you taste it more. And the spice for me at the end is definitely like a cinnamon spice or like a baking spice. It's not so much a wood note, and I'm not getting any bitter notes from this one. Let me go ahead and try the Glenmorangie, see where it stands now after having more of it and after tasting a similar whiskey. The nose really hasn't changed from my last review. There's a bit of maltiness there. There's a bit of fruitiness and a little bit of sweetness, and definitely the orange citrus. Yeah, and the taste hasn't changed either. I'm still getting that sour note with the wood spice, where this one is giving me cinnamon and baking spices, and is balanced, comes across the palate really smoothly. This one is leaving me with a sour note, and I'm not happy that Glenmorangie doesn't taste better still after really giving it a good shot, which is why I wanted to do this. As far as price goes, they're similar. I paid €49 for the Tamdhu. I did pay more for the Glenmorangie. I think it was €59, but that is a 1 liter bottle, and this is a 77 liter bottle. So there's 300 milliliters difference in them. I think the price point is like €5 difference when you work it all out. So price point wise, you're not paying a lot more, enough more with the Tamdhu to make a difference. And I really think the Tamdhu is so much more balanced, and I don't know why the Glenmorangie is giving me that sour note that I'm not getting on the Tamdhu. And as I said earlier, it's not giving me a ton of fruit flavors because it isn't heavy on the sherry notes, but there are some in there. I think it's mostly the like a fig note that I'm getting. Honestly, I don't like the Glenmorangie because, frankly, I just don't enjoy the Glenmorangie. Maybe you do. I want to know in the comments if you've had either of these or both of these. If you've had them together and you've been able to compare them, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with me that the spiciness of this is more sour and more wood notes, and that this one is giving me more of a balanced note? And what are your thoughts about Tamdhu in general? Do you like that brand? Are you a fan of any of their whiskeys? Have you had their batch strength? Because I really think that's an exceptional whiskey. And if I had a chance to buy that, I would have bought that instead. I actually did have a chance. There was a lot of great whiskeys at this whiskey store that's by me, and I think I'm going to do a video about that store because it's really so good. And if you're in Paphos, then Crossroads Cava is a wonderful place to stop in if you're a whiskey fan. So what are my recommendations? Well, I still don't recommend the Glenmorangie. I think the Accord is a miss. I don't think that Glenmorangie is the place to go for sherried whiskeys. I think there are plenty of other brands out there that do it well. Do try the Tamdhu batch strength. I had batch number 5. I hear batch number 4 is brilliant. That's the one that John reviewed a long time ago and got me interested in Tamdhu in the first place, but I could not find that. And I also hear good things about batch number 6. So that's my recommendation. Try the Tamdhu. I think the 12 holds up well. I don't think it knocks my socks off, but compared to the Glenmorangie, I will take it every day because of the balanced notes and because it's not gel filtered and it's natural color. I think it's just a better bottling. Overall, I'm still happy with Tamdhu, and thank you, John, for the recommendations. It's really helped me out. I'm going to review another whiskey that I got here in Paphos. Actually, I got this at the duty-free shop when I got the Glenmorangie, and it's a Glen Grant 15-year. I believe that's a cask strength also, and it's the first edition. Hopefully that's going to be a lovely experience. If you're trying to figure out notes on whiskeys, I think comparing them is a great idea. I hope this episode was helpful and informative. And until next time, take care of yourself. Take care of those people around you. And cheers. Much better whiskey.